From KGW, this is The Good Stuff.
She would, in the morning, go do a workout, then go to school, then come to our practice, then go do another workout. Those are WNBA type qualities.
Tonight on The Good Stuff, from high school basketball star to Stanford standout, and now to the WNBA. A big moment for Beaverton's own Cameron Brink and the WNBA draft. Thanks for joining us on The Good Stuff. I'm Deidre Johnson. It's hard to believe it's been 4 years since Cameron Brink was at Mountainside. Last night, she was the number 2 pick in the draft, earning a spot on the LA Sparks. And as Catherine Cook shows us, she has no plans of stopping the work ethic that's gotten her this far.
With the second pick in the 2024 WNBA draft, the Los Angeles Sparks select Cameron Brink.
Move it up.
For Glenn Lee, it's a great day to be an armchair coach.
It's incredible. But, we all knew that she was going to be, a WNBA player at some point.
4 years ago.
Good.
Lee, who's now retired, was the head girls basketball coach at Mountainside High School in Beaverton. It was Cameron Brink's senior season. By then, the 6'4" forward had 2 state championships under her belt with Southridge and a long list of national honors. Lee says Brink's talent was clear from the start, but she also outworked everyone.
She would, in the morning, go do a workout, then go to school, then come to our practice, then go do another workout. Those are WNBA type qualities.
Brink's future with the LA Sparks keeps her in California, where she played for Stanford. It also keeps her close to family in Oregon. She said with so much at stake, waiting to hear her name called Monday was nerve-wracking.
You just never know, and I didn't want to assume anything. So it's a high-stress environment as well. So when they called my name, just a huge wave of emotions hit me. And when I saw my mom tearing up and my dad, that definitely really hit home.
Brink's basketball roots run deep. Both her parents played at Virginia Tech. In fact, her mom and Steph Curry's mom, Sonia Curry, were college roommates.
And my godmother, Sonia Curry, is over there. Hi, godmama.
Brink's future feels larger than life. Kind of like her New Balance billboard that hung in Portland. The brand signed Brink as their first ever female basketball star.
She was a game changer.
As Brink's former coach reflects on all of it, he couldn't be more proud.
Pretty wild. I can now say that I coached a kid that's going to the WNBA.
In Southeast Portland, Catherine Cook, KGW News.
That is pretty wild.
Well, the Olympic torch relay for the 2024 Paris Games kicked off in Greece today. After an 11-day relay across Greece, the flame will be officially handed over to Paris Game organizers in Athens. The Olympic flame will then head to the Mediterranean city Marseille before the French leg of the relay begins. The torch relay will end with the lighting of the Olympic flame at the Games opening ceremony on July 26. And we have many athletes with ties to the Northwest hoping to compete in the Olympic Games. That includes a woman from Pierce County, Washington, who started with a childhood love of horses. Chris Egan shows us more.
When Jennifer Williams was growing up in Roy, her parents had a street light put in near the family's front pasture so Jennifer could safely ride horses into the night. That was at the age of 5. Now, at 43, she's still riding and still chasing after her Olympic dreams.
So keep the left flexion through the center line. Inside track, stretch them on the outs. Perfect, right there.
Jennifer Williams has always had a love for horses.
Would say around 2 years old, my mom would take me and put me on her horse. And I think they realized very early on that I had quite the passion for not only animals, but particularly horses.
She got her first horse when she was 7 and started competing in dressage at 12.
I was able to figure out how to make her move in ways that it was almost like a balletic movement where she could really, I could see that process of how I could teach the horse to dance.
It takes a special bond between a rider and a horse to succeed in dressage.
So you want horses to be your partner. They're with you every day. You want them to love what they're doing. There's really nothing more special than being able to compete at a high level and have your horse enjoying that journey with you.
From 2019 to 23, the journey would get exciting for Williams as she won and placed high in several national and international events representing the U.S.
It's such an honor. I want to always do my very best for my country, and anytime that you get to ride for a U.S. team, there's pressure, but so much joy to get to be at that level.
Last June, Williams and her horse Jopi put together their strongest test ever, winning a Grand Prix and Grand Prix Special in British Columbia.
We've been together a little over 5 years now. Just the most joyful, friendly, loving guy, always does his best. He makes me very proud every day.
The Bethel High alum spent countless hours training at Somerville Premier Dressage in Roy, a place she calls horse heaven. Williams now lives and trains in Florida with her husband, 2 kids, and Jopi.
And then slower.
She makes it back to Roy once in a while to see family and help coach others.
Encourage him to stretch, that's it.
Williams says a good dressage rider finds balance with themselves and the horse. They feel for rhythm and ride within it. Trust is also an important factor.
It is not easy. I mean, these horses are athletes, and it takes years. We're with these horses for years to build the partnership so that they trust us in the big crowd, in the big venues, and that you can execute all of those movements seamlessly.
Making the U.S. Olympic team won't be easy, but these two are up for the challenge.
It's always been a dream of mine to represent at that level. If we could make the short list and make it to Europe and ultimately make a team someday, that would be such a blessing.
During the first week of May, the top 8 horse rider combinations from the U.S. will be selected to compete in Europe. There, they will have 2 observation events, and then the final U.S. teams will be picked for Paris.
Wow, I wish her the best of luck on her Olympic journey. But enough about what others are doing. We want to know about you. We posted this on our Facebook page asking you to share a photo with us showing how you spent your weekend. We'll start with Nancy, who shared this beautiful painting of a sunset over a field of flowers. The colors on this sunset are just gorgeous, just amazing. And Michael was out in River Mill building a playground for the local RV park. That looks like a great place to let the kids swing, slide, and have some fun. Shauna sent in this picture of her hike. That appears to be Waclella Falls in the gorge. Nothing like a good hike in the Pacific Northwest. And it looks like Daniel was out on the river doing a little boating. That's either a sailboat or a motorboat, but either way, the view looks stunning. And finally, Kristen sent us this picture out on a walk with her pooch. They're walking along the waterfront in Willow Grove, Washington. Such a peaceful way to spend a weekend. You can share your photos and stories of the good stuff happening in your community by texting 503-226-5088 or email us at thegoodstuff@kgw.com. When we come back, we go to the Hood River Valley. Grant McComey takes us on another adventure across the Pacific Northwest. And here's a live look at Cannon Beach. We'll be right back. It's time for another adventure with Grant McComey. Today he takes us to the Hood River Valley. Some fruit orchards are starting to wake up and create a different kind of spring snow.
The drive up the Hood River Valley is a springtime excursion that'll leave you wide-eyed and slack-jawed.
It's just the blossoms. It's all about the blossoms right now. When you have over 40,000 acres of flowering fruit trees, you want to be there to see it.
If you drive north of town on Highway 35 along the Hood River Valley's famous Fruit Loop, you'll see a carpet of spring snow. Not the freezing kind, but an endless wash of foamy white, pink-tinged blossoms from pear and apple orchards that rise and plunge toward distant horizons.
And they kind of roll up through the valley. The higher you get, the little longer it takes. Over a 3-week period, it just doesn't get any better than that. Even people who've lived here forever, they are still stunned by how beautiful it is.
Jack Kennedy is proud to be a lifelong local.
What a joy to be able to look at that way, look out that way, and you see two beautiful mountains, really.
Jack's roots run 4 generations deep across 300 acres of family orchards and farmlands where they grow it all.
Cherries, apricots, peaches, pears, apples.
And it's open for you to visit.
We want to teach you about the valley and tell you what we do and the fruit that we grow. We want you to be able to go out and pick it and you can eat it yourself.
Many roadside stands like the Rasmussen's farm are shaking off winter's lonesome run right now.
Thank you very much.
They're open for business every day to bring color to the landscape.
Bedding plants, vegetables, patio pots, hanging baskets.
Tell me, how do you deal with all the beauty that surrounds you?
It certainly does make the day go by easier when you can just look up and see Mount Hood or Mount Adams or Mount Defiance and all the pretty blossoms.
The Fruit Loop Drive is 35 miles long and best enjoyed on slow, easy cruising. The way getaway days are meant to be, with delicious rewards waiting for you at places like the Apple Valley Country Store, where they whip up some of the richest, thickest milkshakes around. It's a place that stays in touch with its history, too, reaching back more than a century. But these days, it's all about pastries, pies, jams, and jellies, like all of the Hood River Valley, a taste of the country.
It's a taste of the valley that you can take back to your hometown.
From the Hood River Valley, with photographer Jeff Kastner, Grant McComey, KGW.
A local business celebrates an impressive milestone. More on the 110th anniversary for Ranella Produce and the journey leading up to it. But first, let's take a step outside with a live look from our Skycam in the Dalles. The setting sun is looking very pretty. Amazing. We'll be right back. Portland Pizza Week is here, featuring slices for $3 all across the city. Yum! It's happening now through April 21st. Over 30 restaurants are participating, each featuring a special that's not usually on the menu. Some locations are also offering a whole pie for just $24. We have a full list of participating restaurants on KGW.com. And speaking of pizza, one of Portland's oldest pizza spots recently turned 50 years old. We're talking about Oldtown Pizza in Oldtown, of course, which first opened in 1974. The current owner says he first ate at the restaurant more than 40 years ago when he was 9. He bought the restaurant 22 years ago.
I don't really think that anyone owns Oldtown Pizza. You're a steward of this place. You know, a lot of people call it an institution. I think there are very few landmark restaurants left in Portland, and we're just honored to be one of them.
He also wanted to use the anniversary to give back to the community. $1 from every Believe in Portland beer that was sold on the anniversary was donated to Word is Bond. It's a Black-led nonprofit that works to build leadership skills for young men in Portland. And another local business is celebrating a big milestone this year. Ranella Produce on Portland's Central East Side is celebrating 110 years in business. The owner, David Ranella, says he's feeling extra thankful this year.
David Ranella isn't taking for granted he's here today.
I've been gone for 4 months. I had to go down to the Mayo Clinic. I had a little cancer problem.
Not only is he battling the disease, but he almost lost his life when he was beat up outside his business in October of last year. Several people attacked him when he saw them breaking into his car.
Then they discovered that I had a heart attack when I was getting beaten on the side of my building. And it's a big deal because it's my first day back. Is the driver still there?
Now, after going through all that, he's celebrating the 110th anniversary of Ranella Produce. It's a business that provides all kinds of fresh fruits and vegetables.
To save them money meal by meal, you know, to give them nice Roma tomatoes at a good price so they can make their salsa, or the navel oranges that taste so good.
So what's the secret to the success of the business? Customer service is the top priority.
They just feel good coming in here. That's what they tell me. They said, you guys just make the atmosphere so nice down here when you come here. So they just happy to come back. And like I said, we always find good deals, so the prices are just great.
For David Ranella, he's thankful to enjoy another day of a business he loves so much.
You know, trying to get my feet on the ground again. And whatever's left of me, you know, with all that radiation that I had to take, I dropped to 158 pounds and probably down about 50, 60 pounds. But I am here.
Oh, what an incredible story. Well, David says he loves Portland and would never leave despite what happened to him. He plans to continue serving his customers and providing the best produce in the area. This next story is more of a frosty treat. That's right. Today is Free Cone Day at Ben & Jerry's. They're in partnership with New Avenues for Youth. The nonprofit owns a Ben & Jerry's on Southwest Yamhill, where they provide job training. Some of our KGW team members were there today for the annual Scoop-a-thon. It raises money to support New Avenue for Youth programs. The event typically coincides with Ben & Jerry's Free Cone Day, but donations were encouraged.
We raised close to $30,000 today for the services that New Avenues for Youth provides for kids all over the Portland metro area.
The Ben & Jerry's shop also helps support New Avenues for Youth's other programs. You have until 8 p.m. to get your free scoop. Well, it was a beautiful day on the slopes of Mount Hood. Coming up, a new opportunity for kids of different abilities to experience the mountain. But before we go, here's a live look at the sunset from our Rose City Skycam. Welcome back. Saturday was a special day on the slopes of Mount Hood for those with different abilities as far as children. It was thanks to a program through Shriners Children's Hospital. Dubbed Adaptive Ski and Snowboard Day, the program helps kids of different abilities find and fit ski and snowboard equipment. They then get paired up with volunteers who help them go down the slopes. While some kids used more standard equipment and just needed a different teaching approach, others used things like sit skis to race to the bottom of the mountain. Well, that's all the time we have. So amazing. Thank you for being here, and thanks for taking a little time for the good stuff. We'll leave you with our Chinook Winds Skycam out in Lincoln City. We wish you a wonderful Tuesday evening, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.